Action Figures! Oi, 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 oi! Outback Action Figures! Oi, 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 oi!
G'day, how's it going? Welcome back to Outback Action Figures. Now, following on from my last view of the Marvel Legends Maximum Series Deadpool, I just thought, why don't we do a few more Deadpool-themed ones? Now, I don't usually go for the movie-themed figures. I usually stick with the comic book ones. I think I mentioned that last time. But anyway, I was out last weekend. Hope everyone had a good Easter, by the way. But yeah, I was out last weekend and just spotted these in a JB Hi-Fi store, and I thought, you know what? Why not? We'll give them a go. So we've got the Cowboypool here. Now, I think that one could still sort of fudge into a comic book display anyway. You know, even if he is based on the movie appearance, I still think it'll work just for a regular display. And of course, we've got Wolverine here. Now, since he is in the more comic accurate sort of look here anyway, I figure this can still work even though it is his movie appearance. But either way, I'm just going to do a quick look through both of these and let's see what we got. So we'll start off with the packaging. It's just, as usual, a pretty standard Marvel Legends, just your square box. Now, they have added a little bit of extra personality with these. The little sort of names on the side looks like it's just handwritten on a little strip of paper stuck on there, plus a little hand-drawn arrow as well. Adds a little bit of that, quirky sort of Deadpool humor, I guess. Now, on top, we've just got the Deadpool and Wolverine, the movie logo on there. On the side, got some photo of the figures, and yeah, just more of that little clear window. Flip it around, same thing on here. On the back, just another photo of the figure, plus the rest of the ones in that line. I was considering maybe getting the classic tan and brown suit there as well. We'll see. If I find that one somewhere, maybe I'll grab him as well. But yeah, pretty standard. Has a little description on the back here of each one. I'll sort of hold that there for a sec. If you want to have a read, you can go ahead and pause. But yeah, let's just crack it open and see what we've got here. Let's start with the Cowboy. Does have some cool artwork on the inside there. But yeah, we'll get rid of that. Let's just look at the actual figure. There we go. So we'll pop out all the accessories and have a proper look. Alright, here we go. We've got everything out of the package now. We've got the figure here. He comes with this, it's pretty cool little sort of spinning revolver effect. So it's just clear plastic there, molded around one of the revolvers. He does come with this special hand as well, with the finger sort of off to the side, so it can plug in there, and looks like he's doing a little spinning trick. So that one's pretty cool. Obviously does come with the two little revolvers here. And he's got holsters on the side they can sit in, so that works well. He does have a pair of grip hands for the pistols, or revolvers. It sort of looks like they're a bit of a closed grip, more for like his swords, but this version doesn't actually come with swords, so I'm assuming it must be just for the guns. And finally, he does have this one sort of open gesturing hand as well. But yeah, that's it for the accessories. We'll take a look at the figure. Alright, so to start off, I have just popped those little revolvers in his holster on the side there, just to sort of complete the look. But yeah, so it is the Cowboypool, and a little bit of trivia there, he was actually voiced by Matthew McConaughey in the film, in Deadpool and Wolverine. So towards the end, where all the different versions of Deadpool come out through the portal, that's where he's from. But anyway, yeah, so it is a, pretty typical sort of cowboy outfit. Obviously, he has the classic cowboy hat up top, bandana around the neck here, got the sort of waistcoat, vest over the top. Now you can see the arms here are just like regular Deadpool outfit, and if we sort of move that bandana out of the way, we can see, his regular Deadpool outfit underneath the vest as well. It's a little bit hard to tell because it's all just molded in the same red plastic, including the bandana. That is a little bit of a shame. It would have been nice to see a few more sort of different colors, different paint detail. Even if it just had a bit of shading or something, so it's not all the exact same shade of red. It's nice that they have picked out the little gold sort of buckles on the edge of the pockets there. And, got nice detail across the bandolier here. All the little bullets and, buckles and stuff have been painted along that, so that's good. It's a shame that paint doesn't follow all the way across the back, but it does around the back of the belt here, so that's interesting. Yeah, got more bullets along there. Lots of cool little detail. Unfortunately, not all of it is painted, as I was saying. Got all the pouches and stuff, the more typical sort of Deadpool belt here. And that obviously is where the holsters are connected. Very sort of classic cowboy style. It's got all the sort of not engraving, I don't know exactly what you call it, but yeah, just all the little detail on the edge of the holsters there. Pretty cool details. Got the chaps down the bottom, and again, lots of good sort of texture and detail and stuff on these, but they go straight down into the boots, and they just have the exact same, they're just molded in that exact same shade of dark red for the whole thing. The legs, the boots, it's all the same. So again, just a little bit of extra paint on this could have really just lifted it at extra notch, But yeah, a little bit of gold on the spurs on the back, brown for the bottom of the boots. It does look good in general, but yeah, just that little bit of extra effort put in could have taken this up a level. But yeah, that's about it for the figure himself. He does look cool, If you like cowboys, I think this is a good one. If you like cowboys and Deadpool, then this is a perfect mix. But yeah, we'll have a quick look through the articulation, see what he can do. And let's see, if we pop that head off, that seems pretty standard for Legends these days. Got the dumbbell joint here at the top of the neck. Doesn't get a huge amount of range. You might need to sort of get a Dremel or something and dig out a bit of gap in the back if you need to get him to tilt a bit more. But yeah, obviously the bandana does come off if you want to change that up. But we'll stick that back on. Alright, so you can look up a bit. The hat doesn't really block the articulation at all, and it is a fairly soft plastic as well, so it's not going to snap off or anything. But yeah, so he can look up, he can tilt down a bit. Looking from straight on, you can see. It does get some good side-to-side tilt as well. And obviously the full rotation there. And coming out to the arms, he reaches up past 90 degrees as well. That's good. No sort of butterfly joints for the front and back, so it doesn't get a huge amount of, back and forward motion, but it can swing the whole way around. Has the swivel here at the bicep, and again, the pinless elbow joints, so he can lift his arm straight up. Looks a little awkward there, but you'd get good range out of it anyway. Here we've got the sort of torso cut there. Again, it does gap up a little bit if you pull it all the way back, but you can tilt back a fair bit. Can tilt forward a little, not much, but you get a bit of rotation. Oh, the waist swivel there. What else? So for the legs, you get the swivel at the thigh. That can obviously turn the full way around. You can kick forward. Not quite up to 90 degrees, but not too bad. Comes back and just slightly. Well, no, barely any actually. But yeah, that also has the two pinless knee joints. So his leg comes all the way up. He can spur himself right in the bum. Anyway, let's see. The boot. Oh, there's no sort of swivel at the top of the boot. So I guess we're not going to have that weak joint coming apart like on the last one. But yeah, the actual boot itself swings all the way back. As you can see there. Comes not too far forward. And then it's got the sort of ankle pivot there as well. But yeah, that's about it for him. Articulation is fine. It's not great. But, I don't expect him to be doing any crazy action poses. He's more just sort of a stoic, I guess. More of that sort of character. But yeah, we'll try out the little spinning effect here and see what we can do with him. Alright, so here we go. We've set him up with, obviously, just one of the normal revolvers in this hand here. And then we've got the little spinning effect set up in this one. So he can pull off, some decent little action poses. And, it's not like the greatest accessory ever, but this is cool. I like how they're trying something new. It does add, a little bit of sort of movement to the pose. Adds a bit of style, I guess. So yeah, it's not bad. It's not something I went out looking for, but yeah, like I said, once I saw him, I thought, yeah, why not? I'll give him a go. And as I was saying before, yeah, I think this could still, kind of slot into a regular, sort of Deadpool display anyway, even if you're not collecting the movie figures. They are slightly smaller than the comic versions. Barely. Just the proportions are a little bit different when you've got a more sort of realistic human shape rather than the sort of typical comic superhero, exaggerated body types that you see. But anyway, yeah, This one's pretty cool. You know, he's got some fun little bits and pieces. You know, the spinning effect. It's cool. But yeah, that's pretty much it for him. We'll move on and take a look at Wolverine. So here he is. This is the sort of battle-damaged look that he has towards the end of the movie. But yeah, let's pop him out of this little cardboard prison and have a look. Has that same little sort of silly hand-drawn art in there. It's kind of fun, you know. It's cool they do silly stuff like this. Anyway, let's see the actual figure. Who cares about the box? So, he doesn't come with a huge amount. Just the figure, an extra head, a couple of hands, but let's have a closer look. Alright, so here we see, obviously, the figure and just a couple of accessories he comes with. There's one extra head sculpt here and 2 different hands. Now, so he starts off with the sort of more angry face with the gritted teeth, and then he has this more sort of plain, you know, sort of calm, stoic face. But yeah, it would have been nice to see maybe an unmasked head as well. I realise, you know, towards the end where he's got this battle damage look, that's where he finally does pull the helmet on, you know, the mask for the first time. So I totally understand putting the 2 masked heads in here. Still would have been cool to have, you know, just a unmasked, you know, Hugh Jackman likeness to put on there. I don't have any other live-action Wolverine figures, so I don't have any other head sculpts to swap it with. This is still good, but again, it could have been better. And as for the hands, you know, well, obviously he has just these claws already on the figure, and then we have a right fist and a left hand sort of kind of looks like a trigger finger, but I'm guessing that's meant to be, if you wanted to pose him sort of looking like he's pulling his mask on, I guess you could use that hand, but again, without an unmasked head, it's kind of hard to do that. But anyway, as I always say, I'm not going to complain about extra hands. It's just, I don't see how this one is super useful. But anyway, that's what we've got here. So we'll have a look at the figure. Now, it is cool to finally see, I know the movie came out a couple of years ago now, but to finally get Wolverine in his actual comic-accurate outfit on screen, it's just, yeah, it's awesome. I think they did a great job translating this into the figure form as well. And obviously it's cool to see, you know, all the battle damage, all the dirt and wear and tear, and even a couple little sort of scratches and little blood drips along his arm there. A little bit of extra sort of dirt and grime on the top of the mask. It's a shame it didn't follow through even just across the top of the head. They've sort of stopped right on the front there. Could have been just a tiny little extra bit of paint or, you know, whatever, just to finish that off. But yeah, it's cool, all the little, you know, little colours and details and stuff they put on the front here. Unfortunately, there's really nothing on the back. I mean, I know for the most part you're not going to see the back of the figure, but it still could have been nice just to get a little bit of that extra wear and tear on the back here as well, just to really finish it off. But, yeah, I'm pretty happy with how he looks, and again, because it is the comic-accurate sort of outfit, I still think this would work. Yeah, you could kind of fudge it into a comic display as well. Obviously, it is very unique to the movie. You know, it has all the extra sort of panel lines and all the different texture and everything on there, but I think it still works as a comic version. He may be a little bit tall. You know, obviously Hugh Jackman is like 6 foot something, compared to the comic version of Wolverine is supposed to be, I think, 5'3". So yeah, the size might be a little bit off, but, you know, in a pinch, I think this could work. So let's now take a look at the articulation and see how he can move. Alright, so for the head, he can tilt back a bit. You know, if you want to sort of put him in a bit of a crouching pose and have him looking forward like that. You can look down. Not too bad. Gets a pretty decent amount of tilt from side to side. And obviously the full rotation. If we pop that off, we can see he's just got a little... Well, the actual neck itself is solid. No movement down the bottom here. But a little dumbbell joint at the top. Gets a little bit of motion. Not a huge amount, but... yeah, it's not too bad. Pop that back on for now. There's a little bit of back and forward movement on the shoulder there. Not a huge amount as like a proper butterfly joint, but not terrible. He can lift his arm up a little bit past 90 degrees. And obviously the bicep swivel here goes all the way around. As usual, we've got the pinless elbow joints, so he can lift his arm pretty much straight up. It does crash into the musculature there a little bit, but, you know, I guess that's what you get for having such massive arms. And then, yeah, got the wrists swivel all around, and they can bend in and out. For the torso, it's not a huge amount here. We've just got the sort of cut right in the middle. So he can tilt back a little bit. He can crunch forward a fair way. And then we just have the waist swivel there, which is fairly well hidden by the belt. Now, out of the package, the belt was a bit off to the center. I had to sort of straighten it up, but, that was fairly simple, and, it's fine now. It's all in the middle. For the legs, they don't drop down at the hip, but let's see. He can kick basically all the way up. Get that arm out of the way. Yeah, if we try and rotate it a bit, he can get a little bit of extra height out of it. He goes back just slightly. And let's see, he can go out. Well, I think I might have forgot to do this on the Cowboypool, actually. But yeah, he can go out that far and get a decent split. Let's see. Has the thigh cut, the rotation there. Has the double pinless knees as well. There we go. And no swivel at the boot. I guess because of the shape of it there, they can't really put a cut. But anyway, the foot goes all the way back. Goes a little bit forward. And then got the pivot there on the ankle as well. So, again, fairly standard for these sort of movie figures. They don't get quite as much movement as the comic versions, I don't think. I think they sort of go more for the accuracy and the sculpt, the paint and stuff like that, rather than the actual articulation. But it's not terrible. I think you can still get a decent amount of range with him. But yeah, that's about it for him. I think this is pretty much it. I'm not really going to... I mean, it's Wolverine. You're not going to not use the claws. So I don't really think I'm going to worry about swapping out any of the accessories for him. I think this is pretty much how he's just going to stay. So maybe we'll just try a different pose and see what we can do with him. Alright, so here we go. We've just got him in a bit of a crouching sort of action pose, like ready to attack. And I think this works fine, don't really need to worry about changing up any of the hands or anything. Like I said, it's Wolverine. You're going to, his iconic look is with the claws. So I don't think you're really going to change it up and do much else with him. Yeah. I think, like I said at the start, I really don't go for the movie figures in general, but yeah, I just saw this while I was out and thought, you know what, let's give it a go. And yeah, it's not my favorite figure ever, but I think it's pretty cool. As an Aussie, it's cool to have a figure of Hugh Jackman, I guess. And just, Wolverine, the character himself, whether it's in the movies, the comics, video games, whatever, he's just a cool character. So I think if you see this one, I would recommend getting it. And yeah, if you haven't got a Wolverine for your collection, I think this one's a decent addition. That's about it for today. So thanks again for watching. Please hit the like and subscribe, and stick around. We'll have plenty more coming up soon. All right, thanks very much, and cheers. We'll catch you next time. See ya.